What's Gucci La Ventanita? Welcome back, everybody. No, it's been a little while since we've been on here, but I am your host, Bernard Toledo, aka Wario 64. We have my co-host, our co-host right here, the beloved Akeem Osei. What's going on, Akeem?
What up, Calypso in the house? We after an extended international break. Nobody told us that they were back, so we know we just stayed on break. So I guess we're back now.
I'm on my little summer vacation here. Had,
Exactly.
took a little break, but it feels good to be back. We definitely have a lot of things to talk about, so let's just get
Mm-hmm.
right into it, guys. Let's give you a summary of what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to do around the MLS. I'm going to cover the West. Akeem's going to cover the East. We'll talk about how we're doing with the playoff line, what we need to do to get over that hump and get into the playoffs, and talk about rivalry week coming up this weekend, which has already started. Me and Akeem have been watching the Philly DC game, which is at 7-0 now. We've seen
I
Carranza. Did he?
don't know if you can call it a game. I can call it ass whooping.
Yeah, it's an ass whooping. Does Carranza have a hat trick? I believe
Yeah,
so,
he
right?
he just scored a hat trick. Yeah.
Inter, dude. Our like second ever signing too.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, there we go. We'll talk about rivalry week. It feels good. It's awesome, actually pretty awesome to watch games on a Friday. This feels
Yeah.
really great.
They should do it more often instead of doing random 3 p.m. games on like a Sunday or some shit.
Take away the Wednesday games and just give us Friday games,
Yes,
please.
please. Fuck those Wednesday
We're,
games, please. Yeah.
we're begging you. A lot of people up there in Orlando already, a lot of fans, so maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're watching the games too. That'd be awesome. So yeah, after we do our normal around the MLS, we're gonna talk about the Herons abroad. We'll talk about the international break and some of the successes that our players have had on the international stage. Then we're going to talk about Inter Miami after the break. A few games there. We'll cover Atlanta, Minnesota, FC Dallas. Get into the transfer window. Talk about the new players we signed. Some of the rumors of players that might go out on loan. So stay tuned for that. And finally, last but not least, we'll talk about the purple guys up north, which should be a good one.
Should be interesting. We played them to a 0-0 draw in the Open Cup, and then scored two. There were two quick goals, and then we only lost it in penalties. So we played them pretty close, even though we started with a lineup that wasn't very good. We were still, I guess you can call it competitive, even though we didn't play well. Like they had to like go hard to actually like beat us, and it had to go all the way to penalties. So I'm not too worried right now.
Yeah, I was at that game, and I could tell you that both teams played kind of like a B lineup to
Mm-hmm.
start it off, and both teams were exhausted towards the end. It was an ugly, gritty game, and this one's just gonna have 90. So we'll see what happens here. All players know they have to leave everything on the pitch for 90. So we'll get into it. But another thing that makes it interesting, Akeem, and it ties it all together, is the standings. We're not
Mm-hmm.
too far off. So before we get into the Eastern Conference standings and how close we are to Orlando and what implications that could have, let me go over the West. So this is a segment we usually do where we talk about the recent games. Since there's been so many games, we're just gonna run the standings real quick and get right into it. So topping it off at the Western Conference is LAFC, who plays 10 p.m. tonight, Friday. That should be a good one in El Tráfico. LAFC's on top with 36 points. Right behind them is Austin. That's interesting. They've been an interesting story all year. Um, are they for real? We'll find out. But in the standings, they look pretty good right now.
Currently
And
10
I
4 and 4, by the way. The 10 4 and 4 right now.
yeah, and another thing, Gareth Bale. I know Neville mentioned that. Oh, we didn't want him. We didn't need him. This was before the Pozuelo signing got announced. That's actually
Mm-hmm.
a pretty interesting one there because I would agree with him there. I wouldn't want Gareth Bale either if Pozuelo
Nah, I
was
don't
right on
want
the
him.
table. I
Just
don't
like how
want
I
him
didn't want
either.
Higuain either, so that works
Yeah,
out for me.
LAFC have fun, but I think we're all kind of over the aging superstar. And
Yeah.
Gareth Bale at this stage of his career, I'm good too. I'm good. And I think they got him on TAM or GAM or one of those things. And
Somehow.
but we don't
Somehow.
have that. We don't have TAM or GAM anymore. That's what we got taken away in the sanctions anyway. So getting Pozuelo to fill in that DP slot made sense. So yeah, after Austin at number 2, you got Real Salt Lake. That's a crazy one. They've been playing good with Bobby Wood, I think, this year.
Mm-hmm. Bobby
Um,
Woods, like he's like reviving his career.
can he make it to the World Cup squad? Can he be? Nah.
Because the squad is trending very young, kind of like our squad. They're trending
It is.
very young, so it doesn't make sense to put him back on the squad when you have so many people like Pulisic, you have people coming up from the youth squad, you have McKinney and Des and all these new cats that are coming out, Aronson. It doesn't make sense having Bobby Wood. Like, he's done. As far as the national team. As far as the national team.
As far as the national team, I mean, with the hole that we have a striker, it's just funny to kind of talk about it and see what your angle is on it. I don't think he has a chance either. We saw Jesus Ferreira, which is coming up. They're fifth, FC Dallas. Inter Miami were able to draw against them. They're definitely a quality team this year between Paul Arriola and Jesus Ferreira.
Arriola's balling right now. He's balling the fuck out. I think he scored I think he has 8 goals in 8 games or some shit like that. It was like something stupid like that.
I saw him score live in Orlando for the USA versus Panama qualifier. He scored a banger. He scored a banger there. So, and he's been doing good for club and for country. FC Dallas is doing good right now. I actually saw an ad on Instagram that was Jesus Ferreira and Paul Arriola on one side and Campana and Yedlin on the other. And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, yo, they got 2 stars. We got, in a way, 2 stars there. So we're trying to go. They were advertising it. It's a game on a holiday. So pretty good there.
Sure, on a holiday, yeah.
Yeah, so FC Dallas 5th, LA Galaxy 4th, 6th is Nashville, 7th is Seattle, who came back into the mix after the CONCACAF run, after the CONCACAF Champions League. They were really low in the table. They were definitely
that's
favoring.
True. They were like 11th at one point.
Yeah, they were down there. I think they were lower than 11th. I think they might have been down to 13th. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see, but nice to see them back in there. Then Minnesota, who we did play earlier, who was doing pretty good. They're at 8th, so they're trying to bump up in there. It's hard to see them beating Seattle, maybe getting Nashville spot. I doubt it. It seems like the West is getting pretty solid there because after Minnesota, yeah. What were you gonna say about the West? My bad.
The West is really close.
Yeah, it's really, really close there. There's 8 and 9 got 24. Seattle's got 26. And that 7th spot. Portland's got 23. So it is pretty close. It is. That last spot right there. Nashville. Oh shit. Nashville all the way up to LA Galaxy's 27. Things could really break out of line there. But honestly though, like when I think about those teams, okay, at the bottom of the West is Sporting KC. You're seeing it, right? And they're garbage. They're a dumpster fire this year.
They score. They're kind of like San Jose. They don't always win, but you will see goals.
They're a fun team to watch. San Jose right after them, same thing, dumpster fire as well, but it's a fun dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire you want to go play with in the back alley with your cousins. And then there's a scary homeless guy, so you go running back home.
You want some candy?
That's San Jose. San Jose. Sporting KC is more like your mom and pop business shop that you feel bad for. You're like, no, why is the dumpster on fire?
Like San Jose, they're in 13th right now, and they only have a goal difference of -8 at the bottom of the table. They have 27 goals for and 38 against. Sorry, 35 against.
Portland has 0. Portland has 0 in their fucking
They're even. Yeah, Portland's dead even, bro.
Vancouver's right on top of them with -9. The West is kind of a shit show. But what I was going to comment on is just, I see San Jose and Sporting KC at the bottom. Colorado was, I think, doing good. I don't remember. I'm not sure.
They're hitting us.
Dynamo as well, Portland. I just don't see those teams coming up. When I talk about the teams that are in there, Seattle, Nashville, Dallas, Galaxy, Real Salt Lake, Austin, LAFC, I don't know. One of them would have to spiral out of control.
And Colorado just got rid of one of their best players. So.
Yeah. What was it? No, I'm tripping.
I forget his name, but Mark Anthony K. He played for LAFC.
Oh, they got rid of Mark Anthony K. That's right.
Yeah, it just happened. To I think Toronto.
Yeah, I saw that today. That came in today.
So.
All right, that's cool. All right, so that's the West from me. Akeem, get us into the East. Let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about the stuff that involves Inter Miami.
So we got Philly right now playing DC like we mentioned before. So as of this recording, Philly are top of the East right now because they are overtaking New York by a point. New York Red Bull, I should specify. Then you got Montreal, who have been playing not bad. They have a -1 goal difference. So they've been pretty decent. They're 18, 9, and 7 they are 9, 7, and 2. My bad, 9, 7, and 2. So they're doing not so bad. Then you got New York City FC, and 4th place Cincinnati, Orlando, and New England are 5th, 6th, and 7th, respectively. Then you have Charlotte, and then us. Only separated, like, between us and Cincinnati is 3 points. 25 for Cincinnati, 25 for Orlando, 25 for New England, 23 for Charlotte, and 22 for us. So a win against Orlando is not only huge for bragging rights, but there's only 3 points between us. So we beat them, and then we might leapfrog Charlotte depending on how they do and get above the playoff line. Then you got Columbus at 22, Atlanta at 20, Toronto down at 18, who's doing a whole rebuild right now, DC at 17, and also Chicago at 17 at the moment. So the East is still pretty tight. Everybody below the playoff line, within a few points of one another, but the East is really tight up until you get up until the 4th place. Then the gap starts to form a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll start from the bottom up. I think DC and Chicago, you could bet on them anchoring Toronto. They're going to anchor the East at 12, 13, and 14 there. Atlanta, they're going to be in the mix. You know, Joseph Martinez is back. Columbus, they might be in the mix. They have the same amount of points as we do, 22. And all three of us, Inter Miami, Columbus, and Atlanta, we all have a game in hand. We have 2 games in hand with Charlotte. Charlotte's played 2 more games than we have. New England's played 1 more. Orlando's played 1 more. And Cincinnati's played 1 more. That's 7. That's 8, 7, 6, and 5, which we have a game advantage where we can kind of try to leapfrog them over there. Montreal, we have a game in hand, and they're not too far, but I wouldn't get too crazy about that.
I would say worry about Cincinnati on down. As far as New York and others, they're at 29 points. Let's not worry about that for now.
Yeah, let's not worry about that. But the ones we are going to worry about is definitely Cincinnati and Orlando. Yeah. If Cincinnati could lose to Columbus, that'd be great for us. They're kind of trying to compete for that spot as well. But if we can beat Orlando, this is huge. New England, I see them kind of budgeting in there. We're gonna have to take Cincinnati or Orlando's spot. And I think it's doable. I think 100%. I think Columbus or Atlanta could do it. I think we could do it. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm definitely looking forward to this playoff hunt right now. We're out of the Open Cup. We can focus fully here, and we do got a loaded potato. So cover the rivalry week schedule for us this weekend, and then cover. I think you said you were going to talk about the month of July for us, which is really loaded.
Yeah. So the schedule coming up is kind of loaded. We have a game almost every week up until October, but before that, it's Heineken rivalry week apparently. So there's going to be some rivalry games. Not every game is going to be a rivalry game because the schedule just doesn't allow for that. And also there aren't really rivalries like that in U.S. sports, or at least in MLS. So we mentioned how we were playing Orlando tomorrow. We have Seattle playing Portland on the 9th, so tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. That's Eastern time. Then we have a bunch.
That's a good rivalry.
Games. Yeah,
Seattle. Yeah, in MLS, where you said you're right, like some of these made up ones, like DC and Philly or whatever. I don't know about made up.
It's more about, like I was mentioning earlier. It's more about DC and Red Bull because they used to play each other so much. That's more of a rivalry than. Like most of these games, there's only like 3 rivalry games. The rest of them were just thrown together. Like Toronto and San Jose are not a rivalry. But they do have them notated as a featured match. So they do have certain games notated as a featured match for rivalry week, and they have Philly and DC notated as a rivalry match. But whatever, it's marketing.
There's a few good ones. Like El Tráfico tonight, I'm looking forward to El Tráfico. And even as from a supporter's perspective too,
it's always
that's a heated rivalry. That's always a heated rivalry in the stands, in the field, everywhere. So I'm gonna be looking forward to that one.
So yeah, like you mentioned, we have El Tráfico at the Bank tonight at 10 Eastern time, and then you also mentioned Vancouver and Minnesota, which isn't a rivalry game, but still a decent game at the BC Place in Canada.
Minnesota's practically Canada anyway, so
yeah, they might as well be.
They're so up north, and they got a funny accent too.
And also, don't forget they host the All-Star Weekend this year. Yeah. And next year is DC.
You mentioned Seattle Portland. That's a good rivalry to me. That's a really good rivalry.
Great rivalry.
So is that one at Seattle at Lumen, or is
that one is in? That one's at Lumen 4:30. I just hope they don't make them wear both green jerseys. I hate when they do that.
No, I hope
Something
not.
about the way MLS. I think I've brought this up before. The way the MLS chooses their colors is so dumb sometimes.
Hey, but Seattle's purple haze uniform, you seen that one?
Oh, that
When
one's
they're
fantastic.
no,
But
oh, I need to
if
get
they do
that.
that, they'll be wearing their away jersey at home. Why do
They're
they
not
do
doing that.
that?
No, Seattle's gonna. I mean, Portland's gonna have to go with their away jersey. That's probably how
Not
they'll handle it.
necessarily. There was one
I,
game where I saw where LA were playing Austin, and they had Austin in white at home, and then they had LA wearing their black and green kit in Austin. And then you look at the scoreboard. You look at the scoreboard, and they have Austin in green and LA in white on the scoreboard. So if you're just watching the game, what the fuck is going on? So like MLS does that shit all the time.
I don't know if that's an it'd be interesting to find out. I'm gonna ask
It's
somebody
100%
like
MLS thing.
we gotta ask Josh or whoever it is that decides it. But maybe it's the teams because maybe they want to sell their jersey or something. I don't know. Could be that sometimes.
I just last thing I said about this, if you have some kind of colorblind deficiency and you watch MLS, I pray for you. I'm sorry, bro. If you have
No,
any
yeah.
kind of colorblindness and you watch MLS games, this shit is impossible to watch.
Yeah,
They need to think about that more. Like they need to make it so that anybody and everybody can watch the game. And when you have two teams wearing green on a green field, and the scoreboard is both teams are green, like what the fuck?
Welcome to the MLS.
Yeah, dumbass decisions. Anyways, that's my rant for the episode.
How may I help you?
Yeah,
All
for
right.
real.
So rivalry week's dope. We got the Orlando versus Inter Miami. That's Derby, the Sunshine Derby, whatever. What I call Figo. Robbing the LA name.
Yeah.
I want to see a better name come up for it. We'll probably see something organic evolve eventually, hopefully.
I mean, the Orlando fans won't come up with it because they have no creativity at all.
Yeah.
They'll name it something really dumb.
Yeah, it's tough to be one of those guys. Um, so we have the Cascadia rivalry, we got this one, and we have the LA one. So all in all, there's some good games this week. It should be an interesting week. We watch the MLS. How about Inter Miami in July? I know we got Barcelona coming up. So
I completely forgot about that.
yeah, you're gonna.
I know you think I'm going to that game.
Do you remember that time where you told me we were looking through the schedule and you saw Barcelona pop up and you're like, who the fuck hacked Google?
Yeah,
Like,
like, cause I keep forgetting that we fucking randomly play Barcelona for some reason, but whatever. I didn't even see it here on the schedule, to be honest. But good. Anyway, so
19th.
oh, okay. So yeah, so like you said, upcoming the next couple months are stacked because we're in the tail end of the season. We play like 5 or 6 games per month up until October. So for example, we already played Dallas on the 4th of July to a 1-1 draw. Well, more about that later. We play Orlando tomorrow, or today when you're listening to this, in Exploria, in that dump across the street from a church. Then we have Philly and then Charlotte at home. We play in a baseball field for some reason. I don't know. It just says it right here. We play on a baseball field on the 23rd against New York City FC. And then we have Cincinnati at home. So 3 out of the 5 games upcoming are home games. And we've been really good at home. When was the last time we've lost a home game? Like,
Yeah, it's been a long time.
let me see. We beat Minnesota. Yeah, I'm looking at. We beat
Alright,
New
so-
York. We tied with DC. We beat Atlanta. The last game we lost at home was against Houston in April. We lost 3-1.
Oh, that was a bad one.
Yeah,
that was a rain
yeah,
delay.
yeah, true. That was the last home game we've lost.
That's when things started to turn around after that
Mhm.
that Houston game. So, yeah, we've kind of made Phil said it. He kind of wants to make Drive Pink a little bit of a fortress, make it a tough place for teams to play, and I think you're starting to see that because of the attitude of the team, because of the style of the team, the energetic running and la gana que tienen, the want, the need to go out and run and actually go out and perform. So with this new culture, with these new players, I think they've kind of made it part of their advantage. In the beginning of the year, they probably weren't used to it. And now as it gets hotter and hotter and they've been here longer and longer, other teams are going to struggle to play in this humidity. And they're not going to be used to rain delays. We're used to rain delays. So We
Like
got to turn that to our
a team like
advantage.
Charlotte, a team like Charlotte, a team like Cincinnati, playing down here in the middle of July. Even though some of these games are night games because they have to move all our games to the night. All our games are 7 p.m. or later, but still, it's not. It's still humid as balls.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the humidity, it's still hot as fuck. It's still
Like you saw me, I
ridiculous.
came out the shirt. My fat ass came out the shirt
Yeah,
last game because it was so damn hot. I
shit.
couldn't take it.
We came out on the video. On one of the videos.
Yeah, I saw. I saw. Our fat ass was on the
the,
video for
the
all
three
to see.
amigos. The three amigos, shirtless.
After you fucking broke Wilson's nose.
Yeah, yeah. I think he was. I'm pretty sure he was bleeding.
He was really pretty bad, yeah.
We'll get into that. All right, so let's talk about the Herons abroad real quick. So we've been gone during the international break. It felt good to have that break. It really felt
It
good
was
to
nice, yeah.
to watch our players play for their teams. We saw Jovan Jones playing for Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Akeem right there. How'd that feel?
That was good. It was nice seeing him play. We played better than I thought we would. We didn't win a lot of games, but like we played decently, and we have New Jerseys, which is nice. But
Those New Jerseys are sick.
nice.
I want one.
That company is based out of Miami. The
Oh really?
Bull,
What's it
the
called?
Bull BOL. They're based out of Miami.
Nice. Gotta
They
check them
do
out.
they do a lot. They do us, and they do like a couple other Caribbean countries. I think they do Montserrat.
We gotta
And
check
there's
them
like,
out, bro.
And there's like one other country.
Let's find their address and just show up to their office.
Just like, yo, can I get some jerseys? Can I get a Trini jersey? But yeah, the Trinis did pretty good. And then we had the under 20 championships where the youth did pretty well there too. Let me see if I can look at some
Yeah,
scores.
yeah. Look up some scores. But while you do, let's talk about the international break a little bit more. With it was cool. Campana. I like to see. I saw Campana out there. It was hard to watch those Ecuador games. And although I
Yeah,
don't even think I watched any of them, I just like the fact that he went out and played for Ecuador.
yeah. I was trying to follow it on Twitter as closely as I could.
Yeah. So that's good for our players' development. Yedlin, played for the USA. That was good watching him. He had a against Uruguay. I think he had a save that was really important. So it was definitely really cool for me to watch Yedlin play for the USA. I saw Dairon Reyes playing for Cuba. That was pretty cool. He was playing for them in the U-20, and they were dominating in the group. They beat Canada and another team before they
beat
fell
them
to
one
the US.
nothing. Yeah,
Yeah, and Dairon and Noah Allen took a picture. That was really cool. And obviously Noah and Edison Ascona met in the final.
yeah.
USA versus Dominican Republic. Ascona carried Dominican Republic all the way to the finals, and he's a fan favorite. He's a favorite of ours. We love Ascona. We love Mangu. He had a goal, I believe, in which game? In the semifinal or the final? Do you know off the top of your head?
It was a semifinal because I believe that's the one where they scored like I think they won like a lot.
It was tied 2-2, and I believe they won in penalties against Guatemala.
Yeah, that was a close
They
game.
came
So,
back. They came back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was. I think it was like they were down by like 3-2, and then they came back. That's true, and I think Ascona scored a penalty. There were a lot of good games, like Trinidad and Haiti. Did you see the highlights for that? It was 4-4.
What?
Trinidad versus Haiti, 4-4.
Dang! I need to pull
great,
that up.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Trinidad,
CONCACAF, man.
Pretty good. They did 4-4 against Haiti. They beat Suriname 3-0. They lost 5-0 to Mexico, and they lost 4-1 against Costa Rica. So that only put them 1 point behind the group stage. So they missed the playoffs or the next stage by 1 point.
That's a shame.
So
That's a shame.
but that's a good sign though for the future of the country because what we've been doing a lot is getting international players, for lack of a better term, because there was an Austrian kid on our team. Because what they've been doing, I forgot what the program is called, but they've been going to other countries and trying to find kids with Trinidadian heritage and bring them over and build up the youth that way because we don't have the resources in Trinidad to really do it locally. So like we found this one kid who had like his grandmother was Trinidadian, but he like grew up in Austrian or some shit. So like that's the kind of thing that's gonna be the strategy going forward to build the youth.
That reminds me of Jürgen Klinsmann. when he was finding Germans
Mm-hmm.
to come play over here.
We had like 4 or 5 Germans on our team. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
same thing that they're doing.
yeah, it worked for the USA for a little bit, but you see the USA's movement now, and we can get into that with the homegrowns, right? DeAndre Yedlin, Seattle's first homegrown, recruited by Chris Henderson, brought over here to Miami. He got on that press conference table with Noah Allen, I believe, our first homegrown, or is Ascona?
Ascona's
I
the
believe.
first. It
I
was
think Ascona
Ascona
was
and that one kid who keeps getting hurt. They got signed up on the
Frey,
same
Ian
day.
Frey. I
Yeah,
believe Ian Frey.
yeah. Him and Ian Frey, who's still out with an ACL tear, another one. I
Yeah.
believe they got signed on the same day.
So you see Noah Allen playing for the U-20 team, winning that, and going to the Olympics. Ascona's going to the Olympics too,
That's true,
right?
because it was the top 4 in the championship goes to the Olympics. Yes,
Yeah.
because a lot of people forget this. The Olympics is a U23 tournament. It's not a senior tournament, so you can only have 3 overage players, but everybody else has to be under 23. That's why they do it that way.
And I like it that way. I like it that way
Yeah,
too. So,
because then you
yeah.
would have it might as well be the fucking World Cup or like some other international tournament at that point. It might as well be the Euros.
Which is not.
And remember, the Olympics are supposed to be an amateur event. You're not supposed to be a professional when you go to the Olympics. You're supposed to be an amateur.
Yeah. Tell that to the USA basketball team.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, but then you have the USA basketball team who are all in the NBA, but. And that's why they don't get paid very well when you go to the Olympics. You don't get paid very well because it's supposed to be for the love of the sport and for competition. You're not supposed to go there to make money.
Well, they don't even for the World Cup. I don't believe they get paid that well either.
No, they don't. No,
They
that's different. FIFA's a private corporate. Well, technically the Olympics are too, but
that reminds me. That reminds me of the NCAA, right? And the whole NIA thing going on right now.
Yeah, the NIL thing. Yeah, but that's kind of different. But I get what you're saying.
It's kind of different, but it's kind of similar because as a player, you do it because there's money from sponsorships. Like if you go and you represent your country, you're gonna more likely get sponsorships and deals, and the money comes another way. But I just think it's slimy as fuck that the U.S. Soccer Federation, takes all the money, makes all the money, and they don't pay them. But at the end of the day, what I was thinking about, like how these federations get funded. I'm sure they're not getting too much tax dollars or whatever. Maybe they are getting some government funding, but probably not much.
Yeah.
So everything they get is through merch sales, ticket sales. It's not that much.
And that's the problem that Trinidad is having, where we barely have any money to even give to the team, let alone to the first team and the women's team, let alone the youth team. That's where we're outsourcing so much.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of sad, and I wish there was some way to kind of fix that, but of course there's corruption, greed. Some countries are going to put a lot more money into their soccer federation than others, and that's why they win World Cups and they do big things. So we'll see what ends up happening. It does look like the US is getting a lot of support. I don't know where it's coming from, but honestly they should be generating money. Those tickets they charge. I paid like retail price like $88 for supporters tickets. It was insane.
Christ.
Yeah.
Just for you or for you and Ashley?
No, for me alone. Just
Jesus
$88.
Christ.
Yeah, no, I wish 88 bucks. That would have been great. No, it was 88 bucks. It would have been 100 and like 170 something bucks for 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But it is what it is, right? All in all, good international break. And last but not least, let's talk about the academy there. They are the Inter Miami U-15 Academy. Is the MLS Next Cup champion or national champion, something like that? I don't know.
They consider that the national championship. Yeah, because because there were some teams in there that weren't MLS affiliated, so it wasn't like I think there was a team called like Cal Strikers, San Francisco Glens had a squad.
It's all academies. There. It's all academies, and yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Weston had players. I think Weston had a team out there too. I'm pretty sure Weston did. So it's not only MLS products.
So that's crazy to know that our U15 academy team is the best one in the entire country.
That's huge.
That's a huge sign because these guys are going to be 18 in 3 years, right? And they'll be knocking in, and they'll be playing for Inter Miami too. And this is the future. This is how you build these teams in the MLS, where you use the money on the 3DPs, and you got to have the homegrown talent to supplant them, to kind of support the rest of the team. So it feels good to have that, and it was really nice to have Santi Morales, Noah Allen, and DeAndre Yedlin on the same press conference.
Real quick, sorry to interrupt. I got a bit of breaking news, and by breaking I mean as of 3 hours ago, this was tweeted.
Well, hey.
The U-17 team is going to a tournament in Mexico.
Oh, that's what they were talking about. That's what Neville was saying. Okay.
Just real quick, I'm going to read the tweet. The U-17 Academy, fresh off a successful season, will travel to Mexico City to compete in the Liga BBVA MX International Youth Tournament.
That's dope.
So that's good. And they're playing against, let's see, international groups. We have Atletico Madrid, Feyenoord, Seattle Sounders. You have us. Then you got Pachuca. How do you pronounce this? Necaxa?
Which one? How do you spell it?
Necaxa.
Nexa? I don't know.
Chivas, Guadalajara, and Toluca. So those are the teams that are going to be in that tournament. It's going to be from August 16th to the 28th. Okay. And the final is going to be held at the Azteca.
That's big time. That's
huge.
Yeah. Huge. So if Inter Miami can make it there,
and I believe that's the team that Brian Destin plays for, the Haitian kid. Yeah, there's a picture of him here. Yeah, and Brian Destin, he's a baller. He's a baller.
For U17, yeah.
Yeah. Baller.
So good luck to the boys. Good luck in that tournament. We'll be watching. We'll try to post some links on Twitter.
Definitely.
And get that going. So
yeah, I'll retweet this tweet here.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk about Inter Miami a little bit more specifically now. Going back after the break, we were riding a good momentum. I think in the last game we beat Portland at home. And we were kind of on a bit of a streak there, and that definitely ended after the break. We went up against Atlanta on Father's Day, and I think we went down a goal early, if I'm not mistaken, before we lost Mota early. And it was ugly. It wasn't a good game for us possession-wise. I felt like Atlanta had way too much of the ball, and that put me to sleep quite literally. Like at halftime, I was in bed snoring. I woke up way after the game. But I do like that the boys didn't give up. They were trying the whole game. Taylor Twellman shouted us out saying, if this was the old Inter Miami, we would have been down 3 or 4-0, and I agree with him.
Very true.
I think for us to lose that game 2-0, being down 10 men in the first half, is a testament to them never giving up. So I think they did good.
We had 12 shots in that game. Atlanta had 18. We had 3 on target, and the possession was 59-40. So yeah, it wasn't lopsided, but being a man down that early, it was in the 29th minute. They scored in the 4th. We had a player sent off in the 29th, and then they scored again in the 61st. So we did hold out, but like being a man down away from home, what really can you do? And our away record hasn't been great, but it hasn't been garbage either. It's been like if we lose by 1 or 2, or a tie like what happened in Dallas. At home, we have been unbeatable basically lately. So that's a good sign.
So moving on from Atlanta, we go to the last home game that we had, which was against Minnesota. Coming off that Atlanta game, I was in a bad mood. Whatever. We came back. We're down 1-0 against Minnesota for not most of the game. I believe they put one in the second half. They did. I didn't even see it go in. I was.
Yeah, you didn't. I saw it, but you didn't see it. It was in the 65th minute.
I was having a great time. I was having an absolutely great time that game.
So
and
was
by
your
having
friend.
a great time,
So
there
was your friend,
there were a few friends that I brought, and by having a great time, I do mean that I was pretty intoxicated.
Hey, that's the point of the game.
Yeah, but I was having fun. Whatever. I missed that goal. And everybody's kind of down in the dumps. And I told Akeem and everybody around us, I said, tonight we make history. Tonight we get 2 goals really late.
And I looked at you. Late. I looked at you. I'm like, come on. You're like, no, watch. We're gonna get. You said. You see. I think your exact words were, I can feel it. I feel 2 goals.
I that's exactly what I was gonna say. I felt it in my soul, in my spirit. Like, I don't know. I was just and. Look, I'm not the most superstitious person. I come from a science background, so but I do believe there's things you just can't explain. And
Yeah, of
something I
course.
can't explain was that feeling, you know, and it was a good feeling. It could have ended up being a bad game, but it didn't. We got Indy coming on late. I told Wilson, I remember Wilson, oh look, shit, Indy's coming, and he's like, too late, too late. But it was not too late. Indy proved him wrong, and Indy came in and balled, man. He got those 2 late goals, and the only words I can describe it is pandemonium. The
That was crazy. Yeah.
Dude, you saw the video somebody made with like 3 different slides of like
Yeah.
it was just so sick. We'll repost that too. Like it really encompasses what happened. The beers were getting showered everywhere. I knocked Wilson and Akeem down from the stands. Like it just
You
dropped.
elbowed the shit out of Wilson. He started bleeding in the nose. You elbowed him like it was a fucking UFC fight.
Yeah, dude. I was hyped. I was really fucking hyped, and
I
I was
fucking get up from the stand. I look up at Wilson. His fucking nose is pouring blood.
hey man.
And I had told him take off your shirt so you could fucking like stop bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, contain the bleeding somehow, or whatever.
Yeah. What? Hey,
It was hard.
that's what it is in the North Stand, man.
Yeah, it was hardcore and it was fun, and I'm
Yeah,
glad we won.
Orlando fans are crying about beer showers and we're fucking elbowing each other in the face.
Dude, we're fucking crazy, man, and the game was insane. That was one of the funnest games
That game
I've
was
been to
great.
in a while, and the after party was fun. It was just overall great.
I didn't go to
experience.
I didn't go to the after party though, but yeah, that's not my vibe. But I'm glad y'all have fun.
Can you imagine if that was your first game? Like like my friends that I brought, they must think that this shit happens all the time, and it's like no.
I mean, it seems to be happening more and more often. So hopefully, from now on, it can happen with more regularity.
And we do have that crazy home record you're talking about. So if you come to a home game, expect a good result. You know, it's not too crazy to expect a good result. And it was definitely a good result that last home game. Looking forward to the next home game, which I believe is Wednesday coming up against. It's
Oh, look,
it's,
a Wednesday game.
yeah, Wednesday game coming up after
It's
the
against
Orlando one.
Philadelphia.
Against Philly. Okay, that's tough, but it's a Wednesday
I
game.
mean,
They might be resting players. It might be a chance for us to
and
kind
then
of get a result there.
we have Philadelphia on Wednesday, and 3 days later we host Charlotte.
Okay. You know what? If we can get 3 points,
That's Saturday. So even if
If
we
we-
do lose against Philly, we play against Charlotte, who have, I believe, 2 games at hand on us. So
not too bad, not too bad.
yeah,
And then on to the last game that just happened. The most recent game was away at FC Dallas on the 4th of July. It was a late equalizer goal against FC Dallas that got us the win. It was a really nasty move from Robert Taylor.
he
Up,
destroyed like 3 people.
Yeah, it was gross, man. And if you hear the commentating from Ray Hudson, it's absolutely amazing. Magisterial. And I believe the pass gets deflected. The cross gets deflected, but it's perfect for Campana to just put it away right past the keeper on the other side with the header. It was absolutely stunning. It was great. I was in the car ride on the way home because I had work the next day.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
it
but
was, it was a
FaceTimed-
pretty late game too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I FaceTimed a bunch of people that were at the party, and it was really cool. It was a really late game. It started at 9 p.m. So
Yeah,
I was
'cause
already on the way
it's
home
in
around 11.
It's in Texas time zone, so it started a little bit late for us. Yeah.
Yeah, they're an hour behind. They're 1 hour behind.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Texas doesn't like completely. Texas is one time zone, but they're like
Makes sense.
geographically, West Texas. Well, it doesn't make sense because geographically, the West Texas should be in like mountain time.
Yeah,
But
because
they're
they're
not.
so far west. Yeah, it's like
They're so far
China
west.
has all of China has one time zone.
Yeah. Oh.
All
Texas,
yeah,
Texas
the
and China,
entire
man.
thing. So if you're like in the west of fucking in China and you're another motherfucker in Beijing and you got offices and shit, like you're fucked.
2 peas in a pod, man. China and
Yeah.
Texas. All right. So the FC Dallas game, man, that was great. That was awesome. But more exciting, which is the news that came, I believe, after the game. I believe it was a day or two after the game. The rumors started swirling around. I was kind of in doubt. I remember texting you, asking you think it's gonna happen, and your response was that a lot of reliable sources are reporting it, so it's probably happening. And it was such a great move to me that I honestly was not hoping, but I was imagining Inter Miami just shitting all over it and fucking it up somehow. Which I'm glad they didn't. This is the most anti-Inter Miami move I've ever seen. at the same time, this is the best Inter Miami move I've ever seen. I would say this is probably one of our most important signings, along with Yedlin, Campana. Um, we do have a history of bad signings, but when you look at signings like Yedlin, Campana, different players that have made an impact on Inter Miami this year and helped us turn it around. Chris Henderson is killing it, man. And if you didn't, if you don't know what I'm talking about at this point, Akeem, tell him who we got, man.
We got Corazon Jean. No, I'm just kidding. Bro, that's the big signing everybody's talking about, even though I literally forgot about it.
You mean Coco, bro?
Yeah,
That's what they
Coco,
call him.
yeah. Wait, let me see if I can get the pronunciation here.
Corentin Jean.
There we go. I just played the recording. But yeah, we have Corentin Jean, who actually is not a bad depth player coming out of the French league. I think he played for Rennes. I think
Yeah,
that's
he
the
played for
team
Rennes.
he
He played for
came
Rennes.
out of. He's a pretty good player. He's a pretty decent striker for us, which is a good depth position. Especially because Higuain is not staying, or I hope not. Higuain isn't staying, and then on top of that, we got Pozuelo. So that's a even better depth piece. Well, not even depth because he's going to be starting at the number 10. Then we have I almost said Carranza. Oh my god, I wish. I fucking wish you said
It's Coco.
Carranza, bro.
It's a Coco.
Yeah. So we have Corazon Jean, we have Pozuelo, we have Campana up top, Bryce Duke, Indy Vasilev. This squad is finally starting Lassiter finally starting to come together, and we have like a nice young squad. Because how old is Jean? He's 26.
He's in his 20s, yeah.
He's 26. So no more of the aging smokers that fucking don't want to move their feet and expect the pass to be directly at their feet. These guys are going to work hard. These guys are going to go at it. Like, look at Campana's last goals. He scored a tap in from right in front of the box after was it Sailor at the DC game? Or Taylor at the DC game. Did all that work to get him in position, and of course, look who was in the right position right there always to tap it in. The same thing happened against New England, an easy tap in after a Bryce Duke run. So you see the hard work and the positioning, and you see it all comes together, and then you add pieces like Coco, and add pieces like Pozuelo. The team is finally starting to be the Inter Miami that it should have been all along, a young, hungry squad ready to prove their worth. That's what we should have been all along.
That's what we've always wanted as fans, and instead we got like a Scarface Ponzi scheme with Paul McDonough, and we don't have to get into too much detail, but it was a dumpster fire. We talked about all these other dumpster fires earlier and how you characterize them, and every dumpster fire is different. And our dumpster fire was like the dumpster in the back of like an illegal medical center. With a bunch of needles and cocaine on fire or something like.
And there's a meth lab across the street. Like, that's what
blowing
we
up.
had.
That's what our dumpster. With along with the meth lab blowing up across the street. That's what our dumpster fire was. Because when the sanctions got announced, I think Manny, announced them somewhere in the chat, and a lot of us were trying to stay positive because a lot of us were like, okay, that's good. That means now they're going to have to sign young players and cheaper players who actually want to play. And Manny's like, no, you have no idea these implications and how bad it is. And he was right, because I did underestimate those implications, because we're seeing them this year. The team was completely stripped down and built out of nowhere. And in the beginning, it looked like the pieces maybe didn't fit together. They looked good, but they didn't. It didn't form anything, and we started to see that more and more. And we have seen the team build this identity, this hunger of, you're talking about being in the right place at the right time and fighting for each other. And if you miss your assignment, your teammate's gonna go and bust his ass to come and cover it as well. Mm-hmm. And I'll give us that. I'll give us that the culture's there. But, we're still lacking in, and I know you would agree with this, and a lot of people would agree with this, in a little bit of tactics. We can talk about it right here in this point, but Neville kind of learning now how to rest his starters when it's going to get busy. That good move, Neville, great move. But against Dallas, I don't know, man. You're playing on a Monday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
At least start. I keep saying Carranza. At least start Campana. At least. Like I understand the other guys, but like Campana, you have to start. But and he even said in a press conference that we were listening to, like Campana was mad at him. Campana was like, yo, what the fuck? Why aren't you starting me? And he said it himself, like, yeah, I was upset. Not upset is the wrong word, but like he was like frustrated, like I should be starting. And he's like, no, we have to rest you because we're playing Orlando. And I get that. But, like, you're playing on fucking 4th of July in Dallas. You got a decent time to, it's not like we're playing these games back to back. You play on the 4th of July. Then you have 4.5 days of rest. Because they've already traveled to Orlando. They flew there today. So I'm pretty sure they did, like, an early morning session. And then they went straight there. And they're chilling. So the rest thing, I kind of get, but not really. Like, come on. We need as much points as we can get.
I half-heartedly wanted to defend Phil by saying, okay, the move worked out because we equalized at the end. True. But what if we would have won with Campana?
What if he was already there and we could have already scored and we could have won 2-1? Because that free kick was nasty. That calendar couldn't stop that. Most goalkeepers ain't stopping that free kick. It was a perfect free kick. I can't even be mad at that shit. I watched that shit like 3 times. I can't even be mad. But what if we had? Because did Bryce Duke even start?
Bryce Duke.
I don't think they started Duke. I don't think they started Campana. They started Lassiter. So it's like he was expecting, like, you know what? It felt like he was already, you know what? We're gonna tie and we're good. And he's already looking past Dallas and going to Orlando. That's kind of what it felt like.
I also believe that, after Orlando, he knows he can't rest versus Orlando. But then he has Philly on Wednesday, and then he has Charlotte, which is a really important game. Which you're going to rest against Philly anyway, or you're at least going to start a B team. Like, you should have waited there. But either way, Phil's always made some questionable decisions. He's gotten lucky a few times and looked good. But let's not call luck all the time because it's happened a few times. Some of his subs have done well. Like when he put Indiana Vasilev into the game against Minnesota or whatever other moves he's done that have been good. But I don't know. I just feel like we would look better with another coach, and we'll see more about that. But
I think we're getting that depth that Phil has always wanted and always talked about, having that depth. Like you mentioned, Indy coming on, and Campana coming on, and Taylor coming on, and Duke coming on. We're finally starting to get that depth that we need in order to play that style that we play. And then with Coco and Pozuelo coming in, and he even mentioned, him and Hendo mentioned that these aren't the last signings because the summer window only just opened. So we're going to have more signings and we're going to have other bit parts. And we actually just called up a guy on loan. I forget his name. But earlier today, a couple of hours ago, we called up a guy from the second team on loan, and he's eligible to play in Orlando. So that's another depth piece that we can throw in there. So let me see if I can pull up his name real quick.
Yeah, and going macro to micro, you're right. The team is getting deeper, and I like where we're getting deeper. We're getting deeper in the attacking areas of the field. When you talk about Coco coming in, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Kudos to you. You're doing a great job with his name. I'm going to butcher it. So Coco, a lot of people complain about his stats. They're not the best stats.
I mean, he plays in the French league. What do you want?
Yeah. I mean,
he plays in a farmer's league.
Lassiter's stats weren't great either, and he's been looking good. And Lassiter's not the best finisher either. He hasn't been finishing as much, but he's creating. He's been creating.
But that's the thing. My only gripe for Lassiter is his scoring. His creating and his running is good. He's just not finding the back of the net, but he's playing his part, which is good. We need more players that want to play their part, which is what Higuain didn't want to do.
Okay, so on that note, no two players are alike, and I got to look up Coco's highlights to see more of his style. But if he could provide me what Lassiter's providing me, I'll take it. I'll take it all day, because that means you have Lassiter and Coco on the other side, and you got two wingers that are going to run and ball and stretch out the field for your forwards, and I'm with it. I'm with that. And I wanted to talk about Pozuelo a little bit. This guy's an awesome player, dude. Like, he's your prototypical, to me, MLS star. Mm-hmm. A guy that has played in the Spanish league, in the Belgian league, right?
Yeah, he
who
played for
maybe
Genk. Yeah.
who bounces around Europe after success with the because I saw that he has had success with Spain's youth national teams. Um, and
Yeah, he
there's a
never
lot of these
made it all
guys.
the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys that can't break through all the way, right? Um, but and they can't break through all the way in Europe either. But they come over here and they're nasty. They get it, and they're younger and they run, and they're creative. Pozuelo's last goal that he made that chip. Oh my God, what a
Yeah.
disgusting goal, dude. We don't have anybody with the skill he has. He's automatically coming in, and he is the most skilled player on the pitch. Absolutely strip off that number 8 next year when we get rid of the chain smoking fat
Yeah.
guy.
Give him the 10. Give him the 10. Do it.
He's gonna get the 10, and no matter what's on the back of his jersey, he's gonna be the 10 for Inter Miami.
Yeah.
And I'm even interested to see him play with Higuain. I wonder if Higuain's gonna complain now because he has somebody
That'll be
who,
interesting. That'll be interesting.
because now he's gonna have somebody that could feed him the ball. But is he gonna run along with him? I doubt it.
Yeah, no,
So the better
will not
matchup
happen.
is definitely going to be Pozuelo and Campana. A lot of us are savoring that move. A lot of us are like, "Yo, I can't wait." Actually, I'm interested to see if he's going to play tomorrow against Orlando. I know
He
he had
can't.
some visa issues. He
He
can't. The
can't.
visa
No,
issues.
no.
Ah.
Yeah, he can't play tomorrow. It's too soon, but they're working on his. I believe it's called the P1 visa.
Yeah, P1.
He can't. As soon as that gets sorted, then he's good. But until then, even Hendo said that he didn't want to give a timetable because he has no idea when the lawyers will sort everything out.
We'll see him against Philly. We'll see him against Philly.
Yeah, a P1 visa is for athletes specifically.
We'll see him against Philly, no doubt.
Yeah, I think against Philly. Just to circle back, that player's name was Shan Hundal. That guy.
Oh, Sean Hundal.
Yeah,
He's sick.
Yeah.
We got him up. We brought him up.
We have him on a long-term loan. Yes.
That's pretty dope.
He apparently got 3 goals and 2 assists in the last few games. So he can ball.
He's nasty. He's nasty. I saw the first time I watched Fort Lauderdale CF play, he was balling. I was like, "Yo, who is this kid?" And he was wearing the 10 for Fort Lauderdale CF.
The picture here, he's wearing 39, but that's because it's a new league and stuff like that.
Yes, and well, the thing is, since it's MLS Next Pro, they have their numbers are the same numbers as ours.
Yeah, they use the
example,
same set of numbers. They can't use the same numbers. Yeah.
So you see a lot of 40s and 30s. And a few 90s, 80s, and 50s in there.
Because they're technically on the roster, but not really.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's better for us. It's easier to do these types of call-ups. Now that they're not,
and we have to have a longer discussion about MLS Next Pro because I was talking to my brother. I was explaining how my brother is still new to MLS, so I have to explain a lot of stuff to him. And yeah, it's weird having like a second like reserve league, but it is easier to call up players, which is what Phil Neville had a big problem with last year because we had so many injuries, and we had to literally do like a literal loan, like it was a separate team that we had no affiliation with.
Yeah,
so that was a big issue. Yeah, because it was a different league. So it was basically like a loan, like how we're going to talk about soon about Edison Ascona going to USL. We had to literally do a loan and do a contract and all this bullshit. But now, since they're technically on our roster, we can be like, all right, cool, you're on our roster already. Come up and play for a few games for us. And it's a loan.
Yeah, and I believe the players get to play against other younger players, which is good for them in their developmental stages, because in USL League One, they're playing against professional athletes, some like grown men sometimes. So
I feel the other way about it. I'd rather them play against grown men. That's just me, though.
I
prefer that experience.
It depends what stage of development you're on, right? Because if you're ready to break through into the first team, like a Sean Hundal, you're gonna be balling like that, right? But he was holding his own against grown men.
Which I think it should be like that. Because how they do it in Europe. If you're 16 and you can ball and you can play on the first team, play on the first team.
Yeah, it should be that way. So yeah, you mentioned it. A little interleague loan being reported. It's being recorded that Edison Ascona is going to be loaned out to El Paso Locomotive. I don't think there's too many details on that. Miami Total Football.
I looked up on their website. It's more talks for now. No details have been hashed out, which I understand. Especially right now, he has an ankle injury, so he has to take care of that first. But I think it's a good move for him. He hasn't really been playing that. No, I shouldn't say playing that well, but he hasn't really been playing at all on the reserve team, to be honest. And he's bouncing up and down between us and the reserve team and not really getting any playing time. So this is good. They need a player like him. The player that he's replacing, I think his name is Diego Luna or something
Diego
like
Luna.
that.
Diego Luna, yep.
Who plays a similar position, and he's in the not retirement, but like in the twilight of his career. So to not only be a replacement for Luna and just to have him around as a mentor, be like, okay, that guy, he's gonna mentor me to play his position as his understudy, and that would help him a lot. And also playing in a championship, which is a grown men's league, so it's good to be that he has that. And he's what, 20 now? How old is he now?
Edison, I believe, is 20. He should be 20. He played in the U-20. He's not older than 20.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's like exactly 20 now. No, he's 18. He's still 18.
he's 18, yeah.
Yeah,
Really
he's still
young.
18. So that's even better. He's still only 18, and he gets to go in and play in a championship where he can play against pretty decent teams because El Paso's a decent team.
Well, he's gonna play in the USL Championship, and
Yeah.
we were just talking about what stage of your development you're in, right? And when you're in the Edison Ascona development stage, where you're between the first and second team, and you're kind of like on this fringe, it doesn't help you when you're playing against kids, right? But it does
No.
help you when you're playing against grown men. So I do look forward to the move. I really am crossing my fingers, and I do not think they would give them the option to buy.
I wouldn't imagine that. No, this is purely for his development and that alone.
Yeah, this is only the beginning for Edison Ascona. You know, like we seen what he did on the international stage in helping carry Dominican Republic to the finals of that tournament. And honestly, that probably had a lot to do with why he got loaned out, because he wasn't getting playing time for Inter Miami 1. He wasn't getting playing time for Inter Miami 2. But he gets playing time in the CONCACAF U-20, and all of a sudden there's interest. And I want to see that interest grow. I want to see him get that playing time. I want him get that experience and come back with it and increase the depth in that midfield. It'd be really cool to see him and Bryce Duke play together one day.
That would be amazing.
That dude,
That would be so good. Him and
two firecrackers in the midfield, dude.
Bro, they would tear. I say in the next 2 years, them playing together, they're gonna tear people up. Give it 2 years.
So it's looking good for us on the attacking side. You know, this transfer window's good. We might see some more moves. We'll see what happens. But I'm definitely excited. I don't know where the money's coming from. I do know that our DP slots are all used up at this point, because it's Higuain with one of them, Pizarro's with the other because he's loaned out, and then this one with Pozuelo. So it really sucks that Pizarro and Higuain are like kind of just a wasted DP slot, but it's going to be good to actually have a DP on the team, somebody who can come in and, you know, make a difference, make an actual difference. Like Phil said, you see DPs carrying their teams, putting them on their back and helping them opportunities. Pozuelo was the 2020 MVP. He was on a really bad Toronto team earlier this year. He was injured last year. I do think he's going to come back with a vengeance, and he's Spanish. I believe Spanish people enjoy Miami. I mean, there's a lot of Spaniards down here. There's a lot of good Spanish food. It's great weather, so he's gonna fit in fine, and I can't wait to welcome Alejandro Pozuelo.
Just for reference, El Paso Locomotive are 4th in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not a bad team, and it'd be cool. You know what I was mentioning? Somebody, it'd be cool if El Paso goes to visit Miami FC and we get to see Edison play against Miami FC.
That would be great.
Yeah.
They're in the Western Conference, so they probably won't play them anytime soon because they're in different conferences.
Yeah, I'll check it. I'll check it out one of these days. I'll let you guys know. And last but not least, we're gonna preview the game against Barney and his little minion friends over there.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned earlier, guys, we're close in the standings. We had a really golden opportunity last game against FC Dallas that if we would have won, we would have been able to leapfrog Orlando. Could we? No, we would have had the chance to leapfrog Orlando at Orlando if we would have won.
Because as of right now, we would be level on points if we beat them, if I believe so.
Yeah, it would just be level on points. But if we would have won, it would have been a leapfrog, a total leapfrog. So kind of a wasted opportunity there. Still, I'm Grateful for the opportunity to be able to tie them based on the result. And it should be a good game. Again, the last game we talked about, the Open Cup game there, went to penalties. It was a crazy game. I do believe there's a sour taste in our players' mouths, and I do believe we're gonna come in there and kick them in the mouth.
Yellen even mentioned that he, like, after that loss, like, that loss really got to him. Like, that loss was really bad for him. So and I'm pretty sure he missed a penalty too. Him and Bryce Duke missed penalties.
Yeah, do you remember? Yeah, they whiffed their penalties, and you remember Bryce Duke was really distraught after that loss. Oh, actually, you guys didn't see that. Like, I saw that in I think somebody posted pictures of it, but I saw it in person. No. He broke down in the middle of the field and shit, and players had to console him. So I expect Bryce.
He really fucked up that penalty. I understand, like, he's upset because he fucked up that penalty really bad.
The players circled this one on their calendar. If I want to see an Inter Miami team and what they're really about, I'm gonna watch them this Saturday. I'm really sad to miss this one. I think you're missing this one too, right? In person?
Yeah.
This is my first Orlando trip I'm missing ever. It's really a shame, dude. It's really, really a shame. I wish I was out there because I do think this is the one where we get the win.
I think we can definitely pull off the win on this one. I think we can do a 2-0 win here.
2-0?
I think so.
I think I'm going to go back to the Miami FC Open Cup game. I believe we win 3-1. I think we take them out 3 goals first half, and we coast at the end. They get a mercy goal at the end there.
I can see that.
I hope that's what happens.
Because in our last game, we scored first. Same thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope that's what happens. What's really going to happen, in my opinion, is we'll probably score late. I hope they don't equalize, but I think it's going to be, like, tough. And it's going to be like one of those battles. You know what? I think we win the battle. I think we hold on 1-0.
Yeah, so I think we win by at least a goal.
Yeah, I think it'll be a 1-0 game. Hopefully not for my heart. Hopefully it's 3-1 like I predicted earlier. But either way, it's been a fun episode. It's been really great to be back. Thank you guys for listening this deep. How long are we now? Are we like an hour yet?
We just hit an hour, so we're perfect timing.
Pretty good. So it's our usual length there. I had a lot of fun covering everything. How about you, Akeem?
It was great. It feels good to be back and being more consistent. And yeah, we got more stuff to talk about. The next episode is gonna be interesting because it'll be right after that game, and we got a lot of games coming thick and fast. So it's gonna be a lot of content.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Barcelona and some other stuff. And LAFC just scored.
Nice.
Right at the end there. Awesome. This is gonna be a great game. I can feel it already. Nice. Just like most Tráficos are. So welcome to Rivalry Week, guys. Get ready for Inter Miami versus Orlando. We're gonna whoop that ass. We're gonna come out strong. We got a big contingent going up to Orlando. It's another reason why I'm really sad. Yeah, LAFC is looking crazy right now. But we're gonna be going crazy over in Orlando. It's gonna be awesome. And Akeem, I love the hoodie. I actually got the same one.
It's so good. It was like half off at the Adidas store, and it's so damn comfortable. I've been wearing it nonstop.
Same. It is so comfortable.
I love this hoodie so much.
I got one for PB2. I love it. I'm gonna throw it on right now.
I got. They were having a half off on a lot of their stuff, so I got this and some Adidas shorts.
Oh yeah. You know, you're always if you guys don't follow Akeem, you gotta follow Akeem for the game day fits.
On my Instagram. Yeah.
I'm gonna copy you, dude. I gotta, you know what? I'm gonna copy you because I do have my game day. I have my pre-game day fits. Like this is my pre-game day little thing going on. So
the ritual.
you do the same thing. You post like a game day fit, then you're like, all right, updated game day fit.
I had to do 2 yesterday because I had to help my mom with something like outside, so I had to do some yard work. So I had to come back inside and I had to get showered. So I had to switch it up.
That was cool though. That was cool. I like that you switched to the Pride. From last year, the tie-dye.
Because it was really hot in here, so I couldn't wear the other jersey. So I was like, let me throw on the Pride jersey.
Inter Miami needs to pay you because that one's been on clearance, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. And now that I saw you with it, I'm like, I gotta get it. You look good in it.
And I have to get the new Pride and the new Americana.
I want the old Americana. You have it, right? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, the striped. Yeah.
I gotta get that one. I want to get the one with the roses on it too.
Yeah, that one's good. I think Chili's girl had it. Somebody had it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice. Yeah. All right, dude. Well, great episode. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys later. Another one.
Good luck. Have fun.